I watched them drive away with my grandson in the back seat, and I didn't know it would be the last time I'd see him for 9 years. Have you ever had someone disappear from your life without warning? No goodbye, no explanation, just gone, as if they were erased? That's exactly what happened to me. My name is Evelyn Carter. I'm 68 years old, a retired school teacher, and for most of my life, I believed family was the one thing that could never truly break. I was wrong. 9 years ago, my house was full of noise, laughter, cartoons playing too loudly, little footsteps running across my living room floor. My grandson, Liam, was everything to me. After my husband passed, he became my reason to wake up, my reason to smile. I babysat him almost every day. I knew the way he liked his toast, the stories that make him giggle, the nightmares that made him crawl into my lap. And then, one afternoon, it all stopped. No warning, no slow fade, just one conversation that shattered everything. But here's the part that still keeps me up at night. I never understood why. What could I have done that was so terrible that my own daughter would take my grandson away and make sure I never saw him again? I tried calling, blocked. I sent letters, returned unopened. I even drove to their house once, and they had already moved. It was like I had died, but no one told me. Years passed. Birthdays came and went. Holidays felt like empty rooms echoing with memories. I kept every drawing Liam ever made tucked away in a box I couldn't bring myself to open. Because if I opened it, it meant accepting he was really gone. And then, this morning, everything changed. A letter arrived. No return address, just my name written in handwriting I didn't recognize at first. But something about it made my chest tighten. My hands started shaking before I even touched it. Because deep down, I already knew. This wasn't just any letter. This was something I had been waiting 9 years to receive, without even knowing if it would ever come. I slowly turned it over, and then I saw the name written on the back. Liam. My grandson. The boy who disappeared from my life without a goodbye, had finally found a way back to me. But the real question is, why now? Before we continue with this video, please like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for updates. What kind of lie could make a mother believe her own child needed to be protected from her grandmother? Let me take you back. 9 years ago, my life had a rhythm. Simple, warm, predictable. Every weekday, right around 3 p.m., I'd hear the front door swing open and tiny footsteps rushing in. "Grandma!" Liam would shout, dropping his little backpack like it weighed 1,000 pounds. That sound, it was everything. I wasn't just his grandmother, I was part of his daily world. I helped with homework, packed his snacks, read him stories until he fell asleep on my shoulder. My husband Daniel worked long hours, and I was happy to be there. It felt like purpose, like family the way it was meant to be. But then, things started to shift. At first, it was subtle. Rachel began picking Liam up earlier than usual. Sometimes without calling, other times she'd cancel visits last minute with vague excuses. "We're busy," or "Liam needs more time at home." I remember asking her once, gently, "Is everything okay?" She smiled, too quickly. "Of course, Mom." But it didn't feel like "of course." And then there was Daniel, her husband. He had always been polite, but distant. The kind of man who watched more than he spoke. Lately, though, I started noticing something else. He was observing me. Not casually, intentionally, like he was measuring something, judging. And I couldn't figure out why. Then came the day everything broke. Rachel showed up unannounced. No smile, no warmth, just tension. "Mom, we need to talk." Those words, they never mean anything good, do they? Before I could even sit down, she started. Accusations, sharp, confusing, out of nowhere. She said I was overstepping, that I was manipulating Liam, that I was turning him against her. I remember just staring at her, trying to make sense of it. "What are you talking about?" I asked. And then she said something that made my heart drop. "Liam told me what you've been saying." My mind went blank, because I hadn't said anything. Not the things she was accusing me of, not even close. I looked at Daniel, hoping, begging for him to step in to calm things down, to say this was a misunderstanding. But he didn't. He just stood there, quiet, watching, agreeing without saying a word. And then I saw Liam, standing behind them, small, silent, holding his stuffed dinosaur. Confused. He didn't understand what was happening. Neither did I. I tried to reach him, to talk to him directly, but Rachel stepped in front of me. "No, we're leaving." Just like that. No discussion, no explanation, just a decision that had already been made. They turned towards the door, and I felt something inside me crack. "Liam," I called. He paused. Just for a second. He turned back to look at me. Our eyes met. And in that moment, I thought maybe, just maybe, this could still be fixed. But then Rachel grabbed his hand, pulled him away, and the door closed. That was the last time I saw my grandson. And I didn't know it yet. But that moment wasn't just an argument. It was the beginning of my erasure.
What do you do when you're accused of something you didn't do and no one will even listen to your side? That night, after they left, I didn't sleep. I sat in the same chair for hours, replaying every moment, every word Rachel had said, manipulating him, turning him against me. It didn't make sense. So I did the only thing I could think of. I called her. Once, twice, 10 times. Straight to voicemail. By morning, my number was blocked. Just like that. Have you ever been cut off so suddenly it feels like the ground disappears beneath you? Because that's exactly what it felt like. I started writing letters. Long ones, careful ones. I explained everything. I apologized, even though I didn't know what I was apologizing for. I begged her to let me talk to Liam. Every single letter came back, unopened, stamped with one cold word, returned. That's when the panic set in. This wasn't just anger. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This was deliberate. I went to their house, or at least I tried to. When I got there, the curtains were gone, the driveway empty, a for rent sign staked into the front yard like a final message. They had moved. No address, no notice, nothing. It was like they had planned this. And suddenly, a terrifying thought hit me. Had they been preparing to cut me off all along? Weeks turned into months. I reached out to extended family, my sister, my cousins, even Rachel's childhood friends. Some didn't respond. Others gave me short, uncomfortable answers. "She just needs space, Evelyn. Maybe it's best if you let things cool down." But no one would tell me what Rachel had said about me. Not directly, until one conversation changed everything. A distant cousin finally admitted it. Rachel believed I was emotionally manipulating Liam, that I was planting ideas in his head, that I was trying to replace her as his mother. I felt sick, because none of it was true, not even a little. But somehow it had become real to her. And worse, people believed her. One by one, invitations stopped. Calls became shorter, then stopped altogether. I wasn't just losing Liam. I was losing everyone. Years passed like that. Quiet, empty, heavy. I kept Liam's birthdays marked on the calendar, bought gifts I never sent, wrapped them anyway, then stored them in a closet I couldn't open without breaking down. And the hardest part? Wondering if he thought I abandoned him, if he believed I just stopped loving him. That thought destroyed me more than anything else. Until one day, everything shifted. It was an ordinary morning, quiet, still, until I heard a knock at the door. I wasn't expecting anyone. I opened it and saw nothing but a single envelope on the ground. No return address, just my name, written in careful, uneven handwriting. Evelyn Carter. And something about it made my heart start racing, because deep down, I knew this wasn't just any letter. What if everything you believed for 9 years was built on a lie? I stared at the envelope in my hands, my fingers trembling so badly I almost dropped it. Every instinct screamed at me not to open it, but curiosity, hope, and fear combined in a way I couldn't resist. Inside was a folded piece of paper. I unfolded it slowly. The handwriting was messy, uneven, like a child trying to form letters carefully, but with years of growing frustration behind them. It was from Liam. My Liam, now 14, older, taller, but still the same boy who once ran into my arms every afternoon. He wrote hesitantly, almost apologetically, "Grandma, I found your letters. All of them, hidden in the attic. I didn't know you were trying to reach me. Mom told me you stopped caring." I froze. Every emotion collided at once. Anger, heartbreak, relief, confusion. My hand shook so much I couldn't read the next lines. Then I did. Liam explained how in the past months he overheard a conversation between his parents. Daniel admitted he had pushed Rachel to cut me out. Daniel feared losing control, feared that Liam was too attached to me. He twisted small things Liam said into evidence against me, planted ideas in Rachel's mind, and Rachel, overwhelmed and anxious, believed him. All of it. Every misunderstanding. Every accusation, every cold shoulder, every missed birthday, every unanswered call, every unopened letter had been built on a foundation of manipulation, lies, fear, miscommunication. 9 years of waiting, 9 years of heartbreak, and it all came down to fear and lies. But Liam's letter didn't stop there. He wrote about his confusion, his sadness, and his longing, about the nights he remembered Grandma's stories, the way he felt something was missing even when he couldn't name it. And then the line that broke me completely. "Grandma, if I come see you, will you still want me?" My chest tightened, my eyes blurred with tears. I couldn't believe it. After all this time, after feeling erased, rejected, and silenced, my grandson was still reaching out, still trusting me, still hoping. I sank into my chair, the letter clutched to my chest. 9 years of waiting, 9 years of imagining what life could have been, of fearing he forgot me entirely, all of it collapsing into this single fragile hope. And in that moment, I knew something had to change. I had to respond. I had to bridge the years, the lies, the pain. I had to rebuild everything they had tried to erase. Because this letter wasn't just words on paper. It was a lifeline. I sat at my kitchen table, staring at Liam's letter for what felt like hours. The room was silent except for the soft tick of the clock, and yet my mind was racing. 9 years of heartbreak, 9 years of unanswered questions, of imagining what had gone wrong, all of it suddenly had an answer. Daniel's insecurities had sown a web of lies, and Rachel, acting out of fear and love for her son, had believed them completely. She never meant to erase me, but she had. Every accusation, every blocked call, Every missed birthday had been built on a foundation of manipulation, lies, fear, miscommunication. I cried, not just tears of sadness, but tears of relief, validation. Relief that I wasn't the villain in Liam's story. Relief that the boy I loved, the one who had unknowingly carried my absence like a shadow, still remembered me, still wanted me. I wrote back immediately, my hands trembling, pouring out everything. Love, apologies for the years lost, promises to never let him go again. And when he arrived a few days later, the world felt like it was righting itself. Liam was taller, more cautious, a little shy, but when I opened the door and he ran into my arms, I felt the years collapse. His small hands wrapped around me, his face buried in my shoulder, and I whispered over and over, "I'm here. I've always been here." Rachel called later. Her voice was shaky, ashamed. She admitted what she had done, explained how Daniel's manipulation had convinced her, and apologized for the pain she had caused. They were struggling, their marriage strained, and for the first time, I understood the full scope of what had happened. Daniel tried to deny at first, but the hidden letters, Liam's testimony, and the undeniable truth left no room for lies. Some family members reached out, hesitant but willing to reconnect. Others stayed distant, grappling with shame or disbelief. But the narrative had shifted. I was no longer erased. I set boundaries. Slowly, carefully, I rebuilt trust. With Liam first, then cautiously with Rachel. I refused to let the past dictate our future, but I didn't ignore it either. Lessons had been learned, wounds were healing. Months later, I sit at my table again, but now it's filled with laughter. Liam tells me about school, about friends, about life I hadn't been allowed to witness. His laugh, the one I feared I'd forgotten, is alive again, echoing through my home. For 9 years, they erased me. But the truth found its way back. And this time, I'm not letting go. I am seen, I am loved, and we are together, finally, fully, and forever.